The Indians started off the series right with a grand win on Friday. Last night, they left a few balls up in the zone that the Twins turned into long balls and a victory. With one game left to take the series, the Indians will have to overcome their troubles against left-handed starting pitching. The finale of the Indians and Twins starts right now on Sports Time Ohio. From Progressive Field in downtown Cleveland, it's a late afternoon start between the Indians and the Twins as they wrap up their three-game weekend series. Hi again, everyone. Matt Underwood alongside Rick Manning. Indians and Twins have split their first two games so far. And, Rick, we know that baseball is a game built largely on individual statistics, but it's very tough for one man to carry an offense, although right now Jason Kipnis is doing his best to try and do just that during the Indians' recent struggles.
Well, and you don't want him to try and do too much. He's been just fine. He's hitting the ball, and when he gets on base, he's been able to steal bases, leading the team in that department. Not only is he hitting, he's hitting with power. His first career grand slam coming in this series, that was a big slam right there, and he has done everything asked of him. At home, he's not hitting as well. He's killing it on the road, but 7 multi-hit games in his last 10 games, a .415 average. He's got to stay right there, and he's playing mighty fine defense as well.
Yes, he is, and now the Indians are going to turn to their ace, Justin Masterson, to try and pitch them to a series win here today. He'll be matched up against left-hander Scott Diamond as we look at our Nissan Road Ahead pitching matchup.
Well, Justin's got to try and get out of the gate a little better. He struggled a lot in the first inning of ball games, so they're always playing from behind. He's got to find that control, spot his fastball, and keep this Minnesota offense down to give the chance and play from in front. He'll be matched up against Scott Diamond, the left-hander, who's 3-1 this year, a fine .227 ERA. He's 7-2. He started the year in AAA, but he has not beaten the Indians in his 2 games he's pitched against them.
Get to a Nissan dealer for great deals on innovation you can count on. The Indians will be without Johnny Damon. He's been placed on the paternity list, and Matt Laporta gets the call up from AAA. He's in the starting lineup playing first base here tonight. We're back with all the play-by-play action between the Indians and the Twins right here on Sports Time Ohio. And we welcome you into Progressive Field on a cloudy afternoon in downtown Cleveland. Game time temperature going to be right around 75 degrees as Justin Masterson makes his warm-up tosses. Let's take a look at Ron Gardenhire's starting 9 for Minnesota, brought to you by Kia. Denard Span at the top, followed by Ben Revere, and then Joe Mauer, who went 3 for 5 with a big home run last night. Josh Willingham bats cleanup, followed by Justin Morneau and then Ryan Domit. Brian Dozier, Trevor Plouffe, and Alexei Casilla batting 9th.
Justin Masterson on the mound for the Indians, brought to you by MLB.com. At bat 12, follow the Indians everywhere. Justin is 2-4 this year, making his first start against the Twins. In his last start, allowed a 2-run homer in the first inning and 5 more in the second, so he was out of it earlier. That came against Kansas City. In his career, 1-4. against the Minnesota Twins.
We're underway as Masterson fires a first pitch strike. Span 3 for 9 in the series, fouls it back. It's 0-2.
Justin this year is 1-2 at home, also 1-2 on the road, but his ERA much better here at Progressive Field. 3.42.
Masterson trying to get the Indians off to a good start in this series finale, and that has been a problem for the Tribe here lately. In their last 8 games, they've allowed 15 first-inning runs. They've been outscored 15-4 in the first inning, and not surprising, they've lost 6 out of those 8 games.
Yeah.
Now, in their previous 10 games, they won 8 out of 10, and they allowed a total of 2 runs in the first inning in those games.
They're not playing catch-up. And that's one thing this team is, a team that doesn't score a lot, you don't want them to have to dig down deep and early. And I'll tell you that the opposition has reversed the field on them, because when the Indians are playing well, they're winning. They seem to score a lot of 2-out runs. And in the last 8 games that you're talking about, they've been outscored 29-4 with 2 outs.
Talk about getting a dose of your own medicine.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that comes and goes with every team where they get some key hits. And they were on a nice run for a while. They've got to turn it around. But it puts the pressure on you when you fall behind early.
Justin had Span down on the count 0-2. Now the payoff pitch is ball 4. So he missed on 4 straight. And Span is aboard to start the game for Minnesota.
Let's take a look at the Indians' defense, brought to you by Pat O'Brien Chevrolet, saluting the men and women defending our country and watching on the Armed Forces Network. Cunningham, Brantley, and Chu in the outfield. It'll be Lopez at third, Cabrera at short, Kipnis at second, Matt Laporta back at first, making his first start this year there, and Lou Marson behind the plate.
Snap throw to first, back with a dive of Span, who has 6 steals on the year. Ben Revere steps in the 2-hole. Revere is swinging the bat well, and defensively he made a whale of a catch in last night's ball game that potentially changed the game in that 9th inning. If he doesn't make that catch,
he made a terrific catch,
and the Indians got a double at least to start the bottom of the 9th.
Boy, you talk about how athletic that catch was. Watch him what he's done. He'll do a somersault. I mean, his momentum carried him. That's like a circus act right there. That's a terrific play, and you're right. No telling what could happen after that. But that was out number 1. Terrific play.
Well, that looked like a pretty good pitch, but it's called a ball, and it's 3-0 now to Ben Revere. As Masterson threw 2 strikes to start the game. And now he finds his own. It's 3-1. He lost Span after he had him down 0-2. Now he'll try to fight back in the opposite direction against Revere. Runner goes. Called a strike. Throw down. And they didn't get him. Oh, man, Cabrera can't believe it.
Well, you know what? He caught him. By the time he applied the tag, maybe his foot was on the base, if you look at it. The throw looked like it beat him, but he let the ball go past the base. Maybe if you get it up in front a little bit closer. See, he caught it behind him and tried to apply the tag. Let's look. That's close. Boy, that is close. Called safe.
Still think it looked like they had him on the hip before the foot got in there.
You know what? Where he was standing, it did look like it.
Masterson looks him back, throws out Revere, and that's a big out here as Span is unable to get over to third base. That's going to bring up Joe Mauer. Last night, Joe Mauer homered off Tony Sipp. It was his 2nd career home run here at Progressive Field, which somehow equals his career home run total at Target Field, his home park.
Hard to believe, isn't it? I mean, he's not what you consider a home run hitter by any stretch of the imagination, but he's been playing. This is his second year, and I know he's been injured. Or is it the third year in Target? Third year in Target Field. That's hard to believe.
And what makes it even more hard to believe, Rick, is that he hit 36 home runs at the Metrodome.
Well, that ball carried there so well.
The 1-0 fouled the other way.
But average-wise, he's probably the third best hitter against the Indians in his career of anybody. I think Jeter is up there, and there's one other guy, so he's third all time. As far as batting average goes, he stays to the big part of the field. Never will you see him out front. A lot like Wade Boggs used to be, where he fouls everything off, just like he just did, over to the third base side.
Up and away, it's 2-1.
You know, you slow it down for him, you speed his bat up. You better make good pitches. And he has a very good eye at the plate as well. Not too often will he leave the strike zone to swing.
Mauer, a career .338 hitter against the Indians and 3 for 9 in this series. So he's right on target what he normally does. Ooh, close. And Lou Marson can't believe it. He's asking Marty Foster where that pitch was.
Well, you've got to find the strike zone early for every umpire. If that's not a strike, I don't know what is. It's not low, and it had the plate. So you got to figure, if you got to throw the ball up higher than that to get a strike, look out today.
The 3-1 hit in the hole, a base hit to right field. Span coming around third, going to be waved home. Chu, his throw to the plate. Not in time. Marson down to second, and they got him. No, they call him safe. Oh, man. Throw beat him to the bag.
Yes, it did.
I don't know if Cabrera just missed the tag. Here comes Manny Acta out to argue. The throw was in time, unless he just missed the tag.
Well, he may have missed the tag, is what Jeff Kellogg's going to say. And I'll tell you, he did the right thing by going to second base, because Chu's relay throw missed the cutoff man, and it went all the way to the plate. When Marson realized he wasn't going to get the guy at home, he comes up, makes a throw to second. It was an excellent throw, but we'll have to see if he tagged him. Maybe we missed it. Usually when that ball beats you, you're going to be out. You see, that's when you go to second base. And then Marson comes up, does a nice job. There's the throw.
He missed him.
He had to miss him. That's the only thing that could happen. And Kellogg's right there. Look at that. He was right there on it. You know what? He had the best view of anybody. He did. He missed him. He stiff-legged him, and he never tagged him.
Josh Willingham takes a strike on the inside corner, so once again it's a first-inning run for the opposition.
Justin's ERA in that first inning, 9.82 this year. And the Indians will play from behind again.
Willingham 2 for 7 in the series, and he takes a breaking ball in there for a strike. Back out of play. It was a 4-run first inning last night for Minnesota that had the Indians climbing uphill, and they did come back to tie the game. But then Minnesota surged ahead against the Tribe's bullpen. Swung on and missed, and Willingham is out number 2. First strikeout for Masterson.
You know, last game, it was the first game of the year that he did not walk anybody, and he had 8 punch-outs. He comes back and gets his first punch-out tonight, but it's funny, after he had Span down 0-2 in the count, walked him, he ends up coming around to score. Well, and they find ways to get you, those walks.
Again, it was a close play at second base when Span stole second. Very nearly looked like they had him. But the Twins capitalize and take the lead. And now Morneau looks at ball 1. He's hitting .237 on the year. Just 1 for 8 in the series so far.
Well, this is one guy you don't want to get going. The Indians as a staff, second in the league when it comes to base on balls. They trail only the Toronto Blue Jays, who have 215. The Indians have walked 196.
Masterson with a 1-1. Morneau hard grounded to first. Matt Laporta fields it, takes it himself, and the inning is over. Twins take the early lead. Indians coming to bat when we come back. Atlanta Braves 12-year-old baseball team to the ball game today, so they're enjoying a little Sunday afternoon action here at Progressive Field, and right now they're hoping to see the Indians offense get rolling. Let's take a look at the Tribe starting nine for Manny Acta. It's brought to you by Progressive Insurance, proud to be the official auto insurance provider of the Cleveland Indians. Chu, Kipnis, and Cabrera at the top. Then it's Lopez, Brantley, and Duncan in the middle, followed by Matt Laporta, who gets his first start after the call-up, Aaron Cunningham, and then Lou Marson.
Well, 25-year-old Scott Diamond, the left-hander from Ontario, Canada, 6'3", 220 pounds. Off to a good start, 3-1 in his 5 starts, 2.27 ERA. He's only walked 4 in his 31 2/3 innings, 21 strikeouts. He made his major league debut against the Indians, coming back on July 18th of last year. Here's a Rule 5 guy they claim from the Atlanta Braves. But again, a left-hander. The Indians have had trouble with left-handers lately. We'll see if they can get off and on the right foot here. They have really struggled against lefties.
Shin-Soo Choo takes a look at a called strike. Choo has gone 3 for 10 in the series. He has scored 3 runs. He is one of those hitters who has just had a tough time against southpaws, hitting just 119 on the year against lefties.
You know, and you have to go back and think how this year started with him against left-handers, getting hit a couple of times, if that didn't have any effect on him.
There's a base hit to left field for Choo. Down the line, headed into the corner, kicks off the sidewall. Willingham's got a good play on it, and the throw is in time, and they got him. Boy, Josh Willingham got a break when that ball kicked off the sidewall right to him, and he made a perfect throw to nail Choo.
Boy, you're not kidding. It was right on target. I don't blame Choo for trying to get into second base here. That's a double. You're thinking right out of the box. He hustled, but look, he bare hands it, and I mean got rid of it quickly. Right on target, and Choo slides right into the tag. So some very close plays, and everything's gone Minnesota's way, but Choo was out. Gets the base hit, but is thrown out.
And you saw the difference in the close plays at second base. Casilla got the tag down low at the bag as opposed to up high. And they get the call. So here's Jason Kipnis now, sending one high in the air to center. Span camps under it. 2 down.
Let's take a look at the Home Depot defense for the Minnesota Twins this afternoon. In the outfield, Willingham is in left after making that good throw. Span in center, Rivera in right. It'll be Plouffe at third, Dozier at short, Casilla is at second, Morneau at first, Endowment behind the plate. More savings, more doing. That's the power of Home Depot.
As Drupal Cabrera. Batting from the right side. And a little tapper back to the mound. Off the glove. And the throw is in time to get him. So a nice job recovering by Scott Diamond. And the Indians are out in the first. 1-0 Minnesota. By McDonald's Cherry Berry Chiller. Cherry and raspberry flavors blended with ice and 100% fruit juice. By AT&T, the nation's largest 4G network. AT&T, rethink possible. And by your Northern Ohio Toyota dealers. Second inning, 1-0 Minnesota. Ryan Domit leading off for the Twins. And Masterson misses outside. Domit, then Brian Dozier and Trevor Plouffe here in the second for Minnesota. Off the end of the bat, but slugged pretty deep to center, and it's carrying. Oh, what a catch by Brantley! It was over his head, and he just threw up the glove and made a terrific grab. And it looked initially like maybe that ball was going to carry over his head, but somehow, some way, he takes extra bases away from Domit.
Boy, when you look the way the wind's blowing and the way he tracks it down, he's going to make a fine running play. That ball was way over his other side, and I think the wind took it. That's going to be our McDonald's. I'm loving it. Another great catch by Michael Brantley in center field. Very difficult. I mean, he didn't see that ball over his left shoulder. He had to reach out to his right, and it went in his glove. Tough catch, but he made it. Beautiful.
Think about the catch he made last weekend in Chicago, robbing a home run from the big guy, Adam Dunn. And
yes, indeed.
Another terrific play by Brantley right there. A strike called. 1-2 the count on Dozier.
Yeah, that starts the inning off. That's at least a double if he doesn't get that ball.
But you could see the effect of the wind with that wind blowing really from the left field foul pole across to the right side of the ballpark. That ball started out for Michael one way, and it ended up over his other shoulder.
And a lot of times the ball doesn't move like that in center field. You get a true read off the bat most of the time. But the wind did have something to do with that one. And, you know, in situations, that's where you may want to play a couple of steps over the other way with certain hitters, the way the wind's going to be blowing. You can come off the line in left field as well if you're Cunningham.
It's a full count to Dozier. The one down here in the second. Oh, chopper off the plate. Lopez will let it bounce. It hits the bag and stays fair. Now Dozier's going to turn and go for second. And he is going to be in there safely.
That's good hustle. And I understand the play that Lopez makes. He wasn't going to throw him out. And when he realized he wasn't going to throw him out, he was going to let the ball go foul. But when he does, let's watch his reaction. He's got to get on it after that. It hits the base. Look, I'm not going to get it. Let's see if it goes foul. It doesn't. Now he's a bystander.
It's right on the
You
corner.
got to get over there and hustle to get the ball. If you let it drop like that, you can't let it and just expect him to stay at first. He kept his head up, and watch this. He got his first base coach right there. Jerry White said, let's go. Get into second base. So a heads-up play to keep going.
And now Trevor Plouffe takes a strike.
That goes as a double. How about that? That might be the shortest double you've seen in a while.
Well, not the bunt double in Chicago was probably crazier than that. Was it Chicago?
No, Detroit was here when the kid got his first major league hit. Bunt double.
Seen a little bit of everything this year already.
Well, I had no problem with them letting it go, but you have to get on that ball after you do let it go, just to make sure. He was a little bystander there.
0-2 count on Plouffe. And he fouls it back. Plouffe hit the go-ahead home run for Minnesota last night, and they never looked back once they gained the 5-4 advantage in the game.
You know, that was the first extra base hit the Twins had in that ball game, too, and it was just a fastball that Josh Tomlin left middle of the plate. It was one of the only mistakes he made. They're going to get their singles. He kept them in the park up until that one.
And the 2-run home run by Mauer.
Yeah, that
gave
put
them
it
the
away.
cushion.
Watch this. I mean, that was just a nothing fastball, and Josh knew it. Right down the middle, just bad location. You know, he scattered a lot of hits prior to that. Gave up the most hits this year, but they were all singles, so you can handle that. And that was later in the game, too. That was in the 6th inning, after he had already had about 85, 86 pitches.
Yeah, last night the Twins bullpen, I think they retired 12 in a row.
Yep.
Up until maybe
Again,
the 9th
a couple
inning.
left-handers came in. They were 0 for 8 off the left-handers out of the bullpen.
Another foul ball by Plouffe. One nothing Twins with a runner at second and one out here in inning 2. Missed up high. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Number 9 hitter Alexei Casilla on deck. Got him. Nice off-speed pitch by Masterson. Second strikeout, 2 down in the inning. Our injury report brought to you by Elk & Elk. Serious lawyers for serious injuries. Call 1-800-ELK-OHIO. Carl Pavano went back to Minneapolis to get, or is going to get an MRI on Monday. He said after his start on Friday night that he just can't keep going. And the shoulder's bothering him. He's tried to pitch through it, but he said, you know, I don't want to go on the DL, but at some point you're hurting the team maybe. Casilla out in front.
Well, it's been a while because they were talking about him getting a cortisone shot in that shoulder back when we were in Minnesota when we played him and he pitched against us there, and it's never happened. So sooner or later you've got to sit down and find out exactly what's wrong.
Chased a high fastball. It's 0-2. Up the first baseline. Masterson picked it with his glove and beat Casilla to the bag. Nice play by the big right-hander to end the inning. So the bad bounce double does no damage. We'll go to the bottom of the second, 1-0 Minnesota. On this Sunday afternoon, we go to the bottom of the second inning where Jose Lopez, Michael Brantley, and Shelley Duncan will come to the plate against left-hander Scott Diamond. It's been a month of Sundays since the Indians last beat a left-handed starter. You have to go back to May 3rd, 1 month ago today, when they beat John Danks of the White Sox.
Wow.
Up high. Lopez, a bouncer towards short, and kicked off the glove of Dozier, who's had a tough time in this series coming up with balls clean. I don't know that he would have got him anyway, Rick. That's a tough play in the hole.
Yeah, that I think as a major league player, that play should be made. Lopez doesn't go down the line that well. If he picks it, I think he's got a chance.
Our great clip of the game from last night, Michael Brantley extending his hitting streak with a base hit in the ball game. Brantley comes into today's action with an 11-game hitting streak, going 15 for his last 42.
Well, they give him a base hit there, but I think if he fields it cleanly, he could throw him out. He just rushed that ball in. He might have wanted to backhand that ball instead of coming in, with the forehand as he rushed it in. He may want to go to the side to backhand it. He would have had his feet ready to throw.
Brantley lifts one to center. Back his span a few steps to make the catch. One away. Now, last night, Dozier committed an error in short. It just seems a couple of times, and again, we don't see him every day. We've seen a small sample. But he tends to maybe let the ball play him a little bit more often. And, sometimes that'll happen. You get those in-between hops.
Watch me. See, he runs in and goes that way. He could stop. He could have stopped. He could have made it that way, but he still could have stopped, and I think backhanded it.
1 on, 1 out for Shelley Duncan. pinch hit single in the game last night, takes a strike.
This is where Diamond has been tough this year, is when you get runners on. He's averaged just a 176 clip this year. Nobody on, guys are hitting 351 off him, but when he starts coming from the stretch, he's been able to get a lot of outs.
Well, this is where Shelley Duncan was really valuable early in the season. He got off to a great start, really hitting the ball well against left-handed pitching. On the year, he has 11 hits against righties, 11 hits against lefties. He's had 15 more at-bats against right-handers than he has the lefties. Takes a look at a ball outside, and it's 2-1. Little foul back. You know, I talked before about the last 7 starts the Indians have had against left-handed pitchers, and they haven't won any of those games. They had one win. I beg your pardon. They had one win. But they, not exactly a who's who of lefties.
Well, you know, sometimes it doesn't matter, you know, the big names or whatever. Sometimes you can go out there and you can beat the big name pitchers and the best pitchers in the game, and you let guys you've never faced before beat you. Rookie pitchers. I remember we had a year there where we couldn't beat a guy that pitched against him for the first time. But left-handers are giving a problem. They have too many left-handed hitters in the lineup. They can't throw up any right-handers that can combat that. I mean, look at a 212 average coming into today against left-handed pitchers. And that's just left-handed starters. That doesn't tell you the tale of the left-handers they're facing out of the bullpen.
Which is
last night,
yeah.
You know, where they see 2 left-handers. You're seeing every left-hander that any team has coming out of the bullpen, whether they be good or, you know, a middle-inning reliever. They come in, and when you don't pinch hit for guys like Kochman doesn't get pinch hit for, Casey doesn't, and Johnny Damon doesn't late in the game, those guys, it's tough. And when you have right-handers to do the damage, the 2 guys that are really doing the damage against left-handers are Brantley and Asdrubal.
Double play ball to short. 6-4-3, and that ends the inning. 2 complete. It's the Twins 1 and the Indians nothing. Just a reminder, as you enjoy a cold one, to stay tuned later in the game for Miller Time, brought to you by Miller Lite. Third inning, 1-0 Minnesota, top of the order for the Twins. Denard Span, Ben Revere, Joe Mauer. A little bit low. Span walked, stole a bag, and then scored the only run in the first.
Yeah, Justin had him down 0-2 in that at-bat. Had a chance to put him away and didn't do it, and it cost him. A couple of bang-bang plays.
Right back
Ouch.
to Masterson. Hit him in the side. He twirls back out of the way and then throws him out.
Woo. I mean, he couldn't get out of the way of that one. He knew it was coming, so he turned and took it in the back. He says he's fine. Stay in the dugout. He's fine.
He's a big guy. He can take it.
Well, he did take it, and he took it like a man, and he got up and threw him out. He knew he was going to get hit. He couldn't get out of the way. Just turned and took it. Now he's looking for it, and he finally sees it. That's a heads-up play. Ouch. Man, right in the lap. That hurt. That's like a hitter getting hit from a thrown ball. Right in the same spot. Right in the back.
In some ways, depending on how hard it's hit, even worse.
Yeah, coming off the bat could go out a little quicker than it comes in. Well, he knew it, and he took it and made a beautiful play with it.
Well, this will be a little easier play for him. Still an athletic maneuver for Masterson to grab that.
He's all over the place.
And flip it. That's 3 straight defensive plays that he has made in this game. He's got unassisted play to end the second, and now 2 assists here in the third. Well, let's check in for the first time today with Katie Witham.
Well, Matt, the next fireworks show of the year will be Friday, June 15th, presented by KeyBank. It will be in celebration of the United States Marine, as it's Marines Week. During that time, you can get your tickets now and save at Indians.com.
Here's Joe Mauer, who drove in a run, the only run of this game in the first, with a ground ball single into right field.
Yeah, you said 3 straight. Masterson has taken care of. He also had Revere back an easy one back in the first inning. He's trying to earn Gold Glove honors today. We're only in the third.
Now a strike to Mauer. It's 3-1.
It's his 5th 3-ball count today so far. That's been a little something. The command with him, he hasn't really been able to, to hone in on this year like he did last year. His second walk of the day.
Comes with 2 outs here in the third. Going to bring up Josh Willingham, who he struck out his first time up.
He's averaging, 4.7 walks per 9 innings, where last year it was like 2.5. So it was almost, half of what it was last year. His ERA is 2 runs higher this year. And it's because runners have been hitting the ball a little bit better off him, and with runners in scoring position as well. Left-handers have done some damage.
That's hit hard to left. Cunningham won't get it. And on the big bounce up against the wall, Mauer's into third. He'll be held there. Yeah. So the walk, and now a double, and it's second and third with 2 down. And Justin Morneau coming up.
Well, Willingham likes the ball middle in and can turn on it. Looks like a dead pull hitter. Watch where this mistake is. It comes middle of the plate. 88-mile-an-hour two-seamer. And he turned on it. For Willingham, that'll be his 16th double. And with 2 outs, they're rolling. I gave you that stat earlier. In this 8-game losing streak, they have scored 29 runs with 2 guys out of the 62 runs scored.
In losing 6 of their last 8. Yeah.
In that last 8 games.
Yeah.
Almost half the run. So this is a big out for him.
Way out in front. Good time to pull the string because Mount Morneau, well, looked like he made up his mind. He was swinging no matter what.
And they had a hard time getting together with the sign, so maybe Masterson was holding it, wanting to throw that breaking ball until Marson put it down.
Broke his bat, hits Masterson in the leg, and another run will score. How do you like that? 2-0 Minnesota. All of this happening with 2 outs and nobody on base.
Well, he's made some beautiful plays today. This one, nothing he could do. Not only does he have the ball coming at him, he's got the bat coming at him. And he was worried about the barrelhead, which I don't blame him. And that ball deflects off one of his either legs or his shoes. And it just goes into the middle of nowhere where they can't make a play. So they take a 2-0 lead. Both the walks that he's made today have come around to score.
Ryan Domit flied to deep center his first time up and takes a strike. Swung on and missed. Masterson has him 1-2. With Twins at the corners and 2 down here in the 3rd inning. Strikes him out to end the inning. But 2 out damage for Minnesota, and they lead it 2-0. Here as we go to the bottom of the 3rd inning. Bottom third of the Indians order due up, drive down 2-0. We'll get our first look this year at Matt Laporta, just called up from AAA Columbus, where Laporta was hitting .307 with 14 home runs, 32 runs batted in. Laporta getting the call up when the Indians had to place Johnny Damon on paternity leave. So that's a 3-day exemption for Johnny Damon, and then the Indians will, of course, have to make a decision on what to do, if they'll send Matt Laporta right back or if they'll keep him and make another move. But obviously it's at least a short-term opportunity for Matt Laporta for a team that is starving for some right-handed power. fouled back. 1 ball, 1 strike. Matt told me before the game he's been playing a lot of outfield at AAA Columbus. He's played the last 5 games at AAA in left field. Today getting the start at first base. The 1-1. Chased it, and it's a ball and 2 strikes. Yankees lead the Tigers 5-1 in the 9th inning up in Detroit. White Sox and Mariners also in action today in Chicago as Laporta strikes out and the bat goes flying over toward the dugout. White Sox lead the Mariners 4-2 in Chicago. They're in the 5th inning. First strikeout for Scott Diamond, 1 down here in the 3rd.
Back-to-back changeups, and Laporta, you can see way out in front of that one, loses the grip on the bat, and that goes flying out in front of the dugout. So out number 1 here in the 3rd.
That'll bring up Aaron Cunningham. He bounces 1 to 3rd. And Trevor Plouffe throws him out. 2 away. Let's have a look at our AT&T trivia question this afternoon. The only player since 1930 with a 300 average in his career, 3,000 hits, and 500 steals. We'll have the answer coming up later in the game. I think I know the answer, but I'm not sure. I'm going to have to throw out a guess. That's a lot of steals.
Yeah, it is.
Oh, and 2 the count on Lou Marson, who brings a 5-game hitting streak into today's action. And he bounces 1 to short. Dozier, low throw in. Morneau couldn't dig it out. So Dozier, he booted 1 off of his glove earlier that they gave him a hit on. This time he's charged with an error on a poor throw to Morneau at first.
Now, this guy, for me, always seems like he's on the move.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He's always on the run. He's throwing on the run. He's catching on the run. And, I mean, that one you had to, but that one not a good throw. It's tough to make good, solid throws like that. He had him easily. 30th error for the Twins this year. And for Dozier, his 5th.
Shin-Soo Choo takes a strike on the inside corner. He had a base hit his first time up, but he was thrown out trying to stretch it into a double. But really, you have to credit Josh Willingham for making a terrific play. He got a good bounce, a good kick off the sidewall, and then a bare hand grab and a perfect throw to get Choo.
Yeah, he played it well.
A little bit outside. 1-1 to count. Throw to first, but Marson not that far off the bag.
Well, the only time Marson's going to run is on first movement. And that has happened occasionally. Manny puts it on when he thinks he wants to, the time is right. But when you get into a count, you're going to let your hitter pretty much hit. It's going to be first pitch, too, most of the time.
And the 1-1. Choo at a hard ground ball, but right at Alexi Casilla. That ends the inning. 3 complete. It's the Twins 2 and the Indians nothing. Inning, bottom third of the Minnesota order. Coming up here, Brian Dozier, Trevor Plouffe, and Alexi Casilla. Dozier drops down a bunt, perfectly placed. Off balance throw by Lopez, and they call him safe on a very close play at first base.
Well, Lopez did everything he could, and I'll tell you, the Indians really haven't anything close has gone the Twins' way today. It was bang bang, good play, good idea there by Dozier. Here comes the throw, and they arrive at the same time. I got to see that again.
He looked out on
I know, that was
replay.
a tough angle to look to see it from. But Marson got in the way. It's hard to tell. It was bang bang.
He's out.
He looked out. Yeah, from that angle now, it looked like the ball was in the glove. It was bang bang.
Tim Timmons making the call at first, but it appeared that he was out. It's the second time today that a close play at the bag has gone the Twins' way. That missed the hitter and goes off the glove of Marson to the backstop. I don't know how it missed Plouffe.
Well, I thought it hit him, but the movement on that pitch. Remember the last game that Marson had a couple wild pitches, and this one just takes off on him. He gets underneath, and that ball cuts it. You see where Marson thought it was going to hit the hitter.
Yeah.
He didn't even see it. He lost it in the hitter's hip. So that'll go back to the screen. Go as a wild pitch.
And now Plouffe's going to bunt it. Third base side foul.
Well, these guys, that's the right idea. He was actually bunting for the base hit right there, but in turn, if he gets it down and keeps it fair, you get the runner at least to third base.
Despite hitting just $175 on the year, Trevor Plouffe is third on the Twins team in home runs.
Look at that. That's another nice bunt.
Perfectly placed. He was just trying to sacrifice him over, and it works for a base hit.
He gets the bonus, man. How about little ball here? Working well for the Twins there in the fourth inning. 2 bunt hits. They've got runners at the corners because of a wild pitch. And, it wasn't a surprise. Lopez should have been ready. That was a great bunt, because it wasn't hard enough to make him field it. And the only guy that could get it was Masterson, and he couldn't get it in time.
So first and third, nobody out on Alexi Casilla. Wouldn't
Don't
be
be
shocked
surprised.
to see him bunt.
I'm telling you, don't be surprised if he takes one with him.
He squares and pulls it back.
He's going to keep this defense on their toes.
But you're right. He would probably be more
He would
likely
drag
to drag
it with
bunt.
him. With Laporte on first base, if you can get it past the pitcher, Masterson does fall off that way.
And he's a big guy, covers a lot of ground. It wouldn't be easy. Casilla swing and a miss, a 1-1 to count.
Minnesota 17 hitters today so far, this being the 18th, but out of the 17, they've had eight base runners.
Masterson has made 70 pitches already here today.
Wow.
Nobody out in the fourth. And he's in a tough spot now with nobody out. Nothing doing with the runners. Missed down and in with it. 2 balls and a strike. Dozier the runner at third with Plouffe at first. Lopez in on the grass at third. Casilla digs it out. Flies one to shallow left center. Brantley will make the catch. Here comes the runner to the plate. The throw is up the line and safe at home as Dozier. 3-0 Minnesota. Casilla gets his 10th RBI on the year. Down to second base. On the throw home goes Trevor Plouffe.
Well, they get the job done on the sacrifice fly, and it was a good read by Plouffe off first base because there was nobody there for the cutoff. Did you notice that? That's how he got to second base. I mean, it wasn't a bad throw, but Marson could have said cut. No one was there. You know, Brantley's job is to get the ball in. It didn't look like a high throw, but there was no cutoff man in play.
Down and in. Ball one to Denard Span, who walked and scored in the first. Twins with 1 in the first, 1 in the third, and now 1 more here in the fourth. Two and 0 the count, and now Marson's going to go out to talk with Masterson. Well, this is Ron Gardenhire baseball. I don't necessarily want to say it's Twins baseball, but this is Gardy ball here, the way they've executed with a couple of bunts and a sac fly.
Well, the guys did their job getting on. I mean, the first 2 hitters, Dozier and Plouffe, tremendous bunts. Leading off the inning, boom, boom. They're down at the bottom. They're not off to a very good start, but they take what the defense is good. They put the pressure on. The wild pitch helped get him to second base, and then the number 9 guy gets enough of it to hit one, get him in.
To right field, Chew under it. Plouffe tags. He's going to try for third. Here's the throw, and it's not in time. And there are 2 down in the inning. So it will bring up Ben Revere, who is 0 for 2 on the day. Chew got himself in a good position to throw.
Yeah, it's just hit too deep. I mean, he's got a strong arm, but you're not going to throw anybody with average speed that can go from second to third on that ball.
Yeah, and he's throwing dead into the wind on that throw.
Yeah, that's true. I didn't think about that.
Rivera, slap hitter. And he looks at ball 1. Seems like Jose Lopez has been in on the grass this whole entire inning.
You have to. You have to take the run away from these guys.
Chopped towards second. Kipnis. Off balance throw. Got him. Well, Minnesota manufactures a run. And they lead it 3-0 middle of the fourth.
Smokes.
Wow. Presidente.
My grandson here.
Call you El Presidente.
We made that sign yesterday because we had the day off. It wouldn't be for president, though, I can tell you that, but thank you. See the tattoos on that arm coming up?
Yeah.
How about that's my biker president?
There you go. Yeah,
Holy, that's a biker. I thought it was a kid. Nope.
That's the president of your fan club.
No, those are Rick's rejects, my fan club.
Jason Kipnis fly to center his first time up, takes a strike. And Kipnis taking 1-1 to count. Indians have had 2 hits in the game. It's down low, 2 balls and a strike. Caught the corner, and it's 2-2. Diamond delivers, and Kipnis a ground ball to short. Dozier pulled him off the bag. Another error by the Twins shortstop, and the Indians have their leadoff man aboard.
Boy, oh boy, this guy's having a hard time throwing, isn't he? I mean, he's set. He did the right thing. Backhand took his time, but then the throw's offline. It may be getting into his head this afternoon. Look at him. He cut that one loose way up there, and Morneau, being the big guy he is, saves it.
1 high, 1 in the dirt. Couple off his glove. Had a rough series.
Once it gets into your head, it's tough. Because you're at that position, a tough position to do that with.
There's a reason why teams, whether it's Little League or the big leagues, you want your best athletes generally in the middle of the diamond, because that's where most of the action is.
Sure it is. That's where most of the balls are going to be hit, is exactly right. Your fastest, your best range, probably your best arms for the most part.
Yep. 2-0 the count for Cabrera, as Dozier tries to shake off his second error of the game.
See if they could take advantage of it. Right now, he would, I don't know if he'd like another ball, but he'd like another chance or a ground ball to get it out here to turn a double play maybe where he doesn't have to throw it.
There's Drubel with a big hack, and he fouls it back. 2-1 to count.
Send along a happy birthday wish, a 94th birthday to Jane Gruenberg from Chardon, Ohio. Her birthday was yesterday. We couldn't do it. We didn't televise. A lifelong Indian fan, watches every game. So, Jane, very happy birthday to you.
Jason Kipnis with 13 stolen bases has his lead at first, where Morneau holds him on. And draws a throw, and Diamond nearly threw it away.
That's borderline balk. Borderline. You see where he comes up there and pauses, although that front leg I don't think breaks the plane of that rubber. He just stays up there a little while. Take a look at it. See how long he hangs up there.
As long as he doesn't break that 45-degree
exactly.
angle.
He keeps it straight up, and you can see from this angle where his body sort of leans to first base. But at first base, that's tough to pick up. You know, especially when you got to get a jump early. When you see that front leg go up, a lot of times runners will take off on it. You got to make sure. There's a little slide step.
Cabrera doesn't like the call, and it's 2-2. Runner goes, and on the 2-2, Cabrera with a base hit into center field. Kipnis on his way to third. That couldn't have worked out much better.
No, that was perfect because with 2 strikes, Kipnis was taking off on his own. He gave him that little lean to second base, and he took off. He picked the right pitch to go on, and Cabrera picked the right place to hit it because covering was Casilla at second base. And he vacates his spot, and where does the ball go? Right where he was at. So the error, and now a nice job of hitting here by Cabrera, seeing the runner cover. Shoots it through second base side. They have runners at the corners.
So an opportunity for the Indians to get on the board, get right back in the game, down 3-0. Jose Lopez, who reached on what was ruled a base hit, but it was a play that the shortstop Dozier probably should have made in that second inning. He could very easily have 3 errors under his name today.
No question.
Lopez looks, it's up high for ball 1.
You know, in the only loss that Scott Diamond had this year, it was against the Chicago White Sox. He went 6 innings. They gave up 3 unearned runs, and the Twins' defense committed 3 errors. Well, you could rightfully say they've already done the same thing here. The Indians haven't been able to take advantage of it yet, but they're looking to right now.
40th pitch of the day, just foul as he almost picked off Jason Kipnis.
Sure did.
Down at third.
That's the duck shoot right there, man. He was coming down the line, and you better get over in foul territory a little bit more. Watch, he's close to the line, and this ball just misses him.
He'll be a little wider in foul ground this time.
I would think so. That would make me go a little bit wider. He's not, though. He may be more heads up.
Boy, Diamond wanted to know where that pitch was. It's 2-1 now for Lopez. Lopez drives one to center. Span over and reaches down to make the catch. Tagging and coming home is Kipnis. The Indians are on the board. It's a 3-1 game. Lopez with his 16th run batted in on the year.
Did you see the wind knock that one down? I mean, it shot it down, boy. It's a line drive.
So the Indians are on the board, and with 1 out, Michael Brantley coming to the plate with more on Brantley's offensive game. Here's Katie Withers.
Well, Matt, Rick, Michael Brantley by far has the best numbers when it comes to hitting left-handed pitching. He told me to him it doesn't matter who's on the mound. If it's a righty or a lefty, he does not change his approach. The key for him, staying through the middle the other way and not chasing that out pitch.
Well, that's the key. The key for any left-handed hitter is not to chase his out pitch, but Michael's a patient hitter. And that's always a wise approach facing the lefties, to stay on the baseball. But sometimes that's hard to do in that breaking ball.
Brantley fly to center his first time up. The 0-1. A tad low to even the count. Get a look at our league leaders, brought to you by your Cleveland Akron area Lexus dealers. Brantley with that 11-game hitting streak. Prince Fielder of Detroit also has hit an 11 straight. And how about Gordon Beckett? Man, has he heated up? He's been a real key for the White Sox
he has.
in their surge.
He's turned it around with some long ball as well mixed in there.
He had 3 hits yesterday, and the White Sox lost. That ended their 9-game win streak.
That was a shootout at the OK Corral, wasn't it, over there
in Chicago?
Right, where the ball jumps.
Ichiro hit a couple of homers to help Seattle win it. White Sox lead the Mariners 4-2. They're in the 6th of Chicago today. Chopper off the plate. Morneau backs up to make the play. Beats him to the bag for out number 2. Cabrera gets in the scoring position on the play.
Well, say with a KeyBank Grand Slam 4-pack, it's a terrific value for any family. You'll get 4 seats in the mezzanine level right next to the kids' clubhouse, 4 hot dogs, 4 Pepsi products, 4 Indians caps, and a parking pass, all for $96. Log on to Indians.com.
Shelley Duncan bounced into a double play his first time up. Bats here with 2 outs and Cabrera in scoring position. foul. I mean, that ball was inside, and he still turned on it.
You know, sooner or later, Shelley's going to have to make that adjustment where he's going to have to readjust his field. You know what I mean? Move it over. He hits too many balls hard and pulls them that don't even have a chance to stay in fair territory. I mean, when you see, and it could be his best fastball, you've got to rearrange your positioning as far as a hitter goes, and you know, try to stay to right center field. I know it might be hard for him, and it's tough to change, but boy, if you want it keeps him on the ball longer. Early in the year, I remember, I think it was in Kansas City, where he hit a ball to right center field.
Yeah.
I said we should videotape that, and he should look at it every day when he took a base hit that way, because he never really does stay on the baseball to go the other way. He tries to pull everything.
I think it was also in Kansas City when he had the check swing base
yeah.
hit that ignited a big
that
rally.
That was opening day in Kansas City off of Hoshaver when they scored, what was it, the 7 runs in the first or something like that? But, I mean, that was by accident.
Right,
there was one
right.
by design that really looked good, and rarely do you see him take a swing like that.
Up the middle he goes. It's through a 2-out base hit, bringing around Cabrera. As Drubel scores, makes it a 1-run game as Duncan picks up his 12th RBI on the year.
There you go.
He must have been listening.
Middle part of the field. And he did make an adjustment, so good for Shelley. Nice job. 2-out base hit. Gets him one closer. That ball was middle of the plate. Not sure if that was an off-speed pitch or not. But I'm thinking fastball if he went up the middle with it. That's my thought. Because if it was a changeup, he would have been out in front a little bit more. So my guess was a fastball.
I think that's how he got him his first time up. With the changeup, had him out front, but that time takes him right back up the gut. 2 runs here in the 4th, and the error paves the way for the Indians.
Sure does.
Matt Laporta struck out his first time up. Takes up high for ball 1. Matt Laporta, big chopper to short. Dozier slings it to second for the inning-ending force. Tribe gets a pair. We'll go to the 5th, 3-2 Minnesota. With 17 locations in Northeast Ohio. And by Levin's, home of the Sealy Posturepedic mattress made right here in Northeast Ohio. It's a 3-2 Minnesota lead as we go to the 5th inning. Joe Mauer, Josh Willingham, and Justin Morneau due up for Minnesota. They're working on Asdrubal Cabrera. Mai drops in. Looks like he's all right, and he'll stay in the game. Justin Masterson will start the fifth and face the heart of the Twins order here. They've already combined for 3 hits, 2 runs batted in, and a run scored. Mauer walked and came around his last time up.
Well, right now, Justin needs a shutdown inning for the Indians. A quick 1-2-3 to get them right back in there after scoring 2. Keep it a 1-run ball game. Twins have scored in 3 of the first 4 innings.
Joe Mauer has become something of a lightning rod for criticism in the Twin Cities. One time he was an MVP, and the Twins gave him the big contract. You almost wonder if that comes with the territory. You get the big contract, and suddenly you're fair game for everybody when anything goes wrong with the ball club. And Mauer has, I think, he's done his best to try to stay above it all.
Right.
But at the same time, you know, if he was making, let's say, $5-6 million a year, I don't think anybody would be on him. But when you're making $23 million a year, people expect you to be superhuman.
Well, that's true, and I love his shampoo commercials that he has to do. I mean, I bought the stuff because of him, and my hair is beautiful. That they were getting on him because they felt he wasn't working as hard, and it does. When you sign for the big money, it comes back to haunt you. It sure does.
Well, it just opens you up. You're fair game then.
They loved him to death. If they didn't sign him, they would have crucified the Twins.
Oh, yeah.
For not keeping him around. He's a
local guy,
St. Paul guy. You know, and now he's not catching every day. He's got to DH a little more because of some injuries, and you know they signed him because he was a catcher. And if he was a catcher and playing every day, he's got batting titles, you know, in his closet. But you know that's one of the reasons when you look at that case scenario where the Indians say, hey, we can't give one man $23 million and survive, especially that guy's got to play every day. And I don't know. I mean, can you justify it?
There's a fly ball to center field. I don't know that any team can really justify it. Some teams can afford to pay it, but truly to justify it, I don't know. I mean, is one guy worth that much more than everybody else on your team? I mean, it just throws the entire payroll out of whack, for one thing. And it cripples teams in Minnesota and Cleveland's positions to make additional movements, to make additions when you need to supplement your team in the offseason. There's a giant chunk of your payroll tied up in one guy.
It killed their bullpen.
Yeah.
You know, after they signed him to that, they had some injuries, and they couldn't afford a bullpen after that or some starting pitching.
With the shift on, Cabrera throws out Morneau, and it's a great inning for Justin Masterson. He sets the Twins down 1-2-3 for the first time today. Bottom of the 5th inning, Tribe down a run. Aaron Cunningham, Lou Marson, Shin-Soo Choo due up here in the 5th for the Indians. Tribe wrapping up the homestand here today. Off day tomorrow, and the Indians will hit the road for a 10-day road trip in which they'll go 3 in Detroit, 3 in St. Louis, and 3 in Cincinnati.
That's not far away. The travel shouldn't be too bad.
Interleague play, we'll see pitchers hitting. Tribe will visit the defending world champion St. Louis Cardinals. Been a few years, about 5 years, I think, since we were there last.
Well, they've got to catch up. This is the 32nd home game for the Tribe. They've only played 21 on the road, so we're only back here for 6 and back out. So we only have 6 more home games in the month of June, believe it or not. But the Indians play well on the road. Let's hope it continues. 12-9 on the road this year. They seem to score more runs, and a lot of guys hit better.
Cunningham jammed again for the 2nd time today. Thrown out by the 3rd baseman once again. We'll go back to the Hyundai Studios for an in-game update with Al Pulaski.
Hey, Matt. Hey, Rick. First and last pitch today in Detroit. The first one, a Derek Jeter home run off Justin Verlander. The last one, Phil Hughes gets the strikeout and the complete game win for the Yankees as they top the Tigers. 5-1's the final score today from Detroit. Matt?
All right, thanks, Al.
Verlander gone down for the 3rd time, huh?
10 hits in that game for the Yankees. Lou Marson lifts one in the air to right. Ben Revere makes the catch. 2 quick outs. Our minor league report brought to you by University Hospitals. Jordan Smith 3 for 4 with a couple of doubles. He's hitting 8 straight for the Captains. White Sox lead the Mariners 4-2. They're in the 7th inning now in Chicago. Chu singled in the 1st. He bounced out to end the 3rd inning. Two and 0 the count here. There's a long drive to straightaway center field. That's going to get down and go to the wall, and it hops over.
That's too bad.
A ground rule double. He might have had a chance at a triple.
Well, he smoked that ball. That's a good swing.
A little surprised at how far Denard Span, the center fielder, was playing Chu to the opposite field. And he plugged the gap.
Well, and like we said, with the wind blowing like that today, you could take a couple extra steps. There's nothing he would have been able to do with it anyway. That ball was just hit. He smoked it. It hits that track and bounces up into the seats. So for Chu, that'll be his 14th double. And it'll give him a crack with 2 outs now to tie this ball game up.
Jason Kipnis reached on an error his last time up, 0 for 2 today. Kipnis now 4 for 12 in the series with 4 runs scored. He drove in 4 in the series opener with a grand slam.
Well, we can send out more birthday wishes while they're talking. Fran Saxa of Cleveland is 96 tomorrow. Fran, very special happy birthday to you. Myron Kovsnoski of Parma Heights is 75. Pat Mead from Bracknell, 29. Happy birthday. Still a couple more to come.
Kipnis takes a strike. Kipnis with a bouncer weakly to second. Casilla will throw him out. 5 complete. And the Indians trail the Twins 3-2.
With today's lucky $25 Indians Fun Money winner, Colin and Brandon. And guys, how are the seats out here?
Oh, they're great. We're right by Sin-Soo Choo. He's my favorite player.
Just came up with a big hit. You can be a winner too. All you have to do is get tickets to sit out here in the Subway Extreme Fan Zone Subway, where winners eat. Mac, Rick, we'll send it back over to you guys.
All right, thanks, Katie. Speaking of that Choo hit, that double in the 5th inning, that was the Indians' first extra base hit since the grand slam in the 4th inning Friday night.
Wow.
Ryan Domit leads off the 6th inning and takes ball 1 down low. He's 0 for 2 this afternoon. Way outside, 2-0. Going the other way, Lopez, nice backhanded pick and the throw to get him.
Nice.
And that's not an easy pick because the way that ball's spinning coming the other way off the bat of Domit.
Well, it didn't have as much speed and it had a lot of spin, so that was a pretty good play. Not an easy one because, I mean, he goes the other way. They're playing him to hit it in the shift, and that thing had some spin to it. But he plants, throws, gets him.
One away for Brian Dozier. His bunt single to start the 4th is now the difference in the game. And that got the Twins their 3rd run. Trevor Plouffe followed with a bunt single. And then a sac fly got Dozier home after a wild pitch had originally moved him into scoring position.
Well, his errors opened up the 2-run Indians' 4th inning.
Out of play. And Dozier also had that little chopper off the plate that hit on the 3rd base bag, and he wound up with a double back in the 2nd inning. But did not score. Goes the other way, foul, out of play. Masterson and retiring the side 1-2-3 in the 5th inning, only needed 9 pitches. That's out of play by Dozier. And Justin has set down 7 straight.
He's had a good slider today. But, you know, those early innings, when you throw a lot of pitches, they come around, you know, they stop you from going deep into the ballgame, real deep anyway.
Yeah, he's closing in on 100 pitches
right,
here
so
in
I'm
the
thinking
sixth.
the best he can do is, one more inning if he can get through this inning.
And Plouffe ends up with a walk. So he's on board for the third time today. Our game recap brought to you by your Northern Ohio Toyota dealers. Joe Mauer with a RBI single in the first. Morneau's infield single in the third. And then Shelley Duncan down 3-0. Got the Indians their second run of the game in that fourth inning. They scored both runs in the fourth. Find out about more than 30 Toyota offers available now at buyatoyota.com. Trevor Plouffe fouls it into the Indians' dugout. Left-hander Nick Hagedorn just getting up in the Tribe bullpen. Plouffe drives one to left center. That's down for a base hit. On his way to third is Dozier, and Cunningham's throw not in time. So Twins at first and third with one out here in the sixth.
That's the part of the lineup that's doing it. Certainly making a big part for the Twins offense today. Second hit for Plouffe. Dozier goes all the way to third. So he's been on 3 straight times.
Lou Marson's going to go out to the mound, and Scott Radinsky is going to join him. Stop by your Northeast Ohio Shell retailer, True North convenience stores. You can win a $100 gas card. All you have to do is log on to STOHD.com. We'll pick a new winner each week from now until September 26th.
Okay, while Scott Radinsky is out there trying to settle down Masterson, we can finish off our birthday wishes. Mel Martin from Monroeville is turning 87. Herb Sari from Astabula is 82. And a happy 25th wedding anniversary to Marianne and John Foodie from Columbus. Well, the Twins now an opportunity. Casilla, first and third. He had the sacrifice fly back in the fourth inning. Man on third base.
Well, this game's a lot like last night. They fell behind 4-0, came back to tie it, and then the Twins pushed away late. And here today they were down 3-0. Come back to make it a one-run game. But here again, the Twins trying to pull away. One out, first and third. Casilla ground ball to first. Laporta coming home with the throw. Marson's got it, tags him out. Nicely executed by Matt Laporta, and a good tag at the dish by Lou Marson to erase Brian Dozier for out number 2.
Well, going on contact there. They chose not to go for the double play, which is probably the wise thing. Cut that run off at first base. Casilla can run a little bit, and an easy play there as Marson tags him out. So now it's first and second, and he's got a chance to get out of it without them scoring.
Denard Span 0 for 2 with a walk and a run scored. And it's inside, ball 1. Little chopper first, and it's going to go foul. They're in the 8th inning now in Chicago. White Sox still with a 4-2 lead over the Mariners. Masterson ready. Span a grounder to first. And Matt Laporta will gobble it up, go to the bag, inning over. Twins threaten, but they do not score. Masterson gets out of trouble. We go to the bottom of the 6th, 3-2 Minnesota. The Indians down a run. They'll send Asdrubal Cabrera, Jose Lopez, and Michael Brantley to the plate. Cabrera 1 for 2 this afternoon. He singled and scored his last time up.
Well, you look at the pitch count here and you see Scott Diamond at 62.
Cabrera drops down a perfect bunt. Diamond bare hand grab and throw, and he still got him. I don't think the headfirst dive helped Cabrera. In fact, it might have hurt him.
Well, it doesn't help anybody, really. They still continue to do it instead of running through the bag. But you see, trying a little small ball, he's trying to get on base, make something happen. I like the idea. Diamond makes a pretty nice play, but boy, you don't need him going in head first and hurting himself. It's the last thing you need. This is a guy that's got to be out on that diamond every day.
Jose Lopez takes a strike. Lopez with a base hit, infield hit in the second, and then he drove in a run with a sac fly in the fourth. Diamond delivers a strike. Yeah, Rick, 61 pitches through 5 innings for Scott Diamond.
Yeah.
Justin Masterson 103 through 6 innings.
Very tidy. You know, he hasn't walked anybody, but then again, he only has 4 walks all year long, coming on 36, almost 37 innings. So he makes you put the ball in play. Nothing overpowering. He's 2-1 strikes, 44 strikes, 22 balls on the afternoon.
And the 0-2 hit to third. Diving stop by Plouffe. Gets up and throws him out. 2 away. As promised earlier, it's Miller time. Brought to you by Miller Lite. Let's go back to the second inning when Michael Brantley, on a dead run ball over his head, reached out and grabbed it as it sailed back over his other shoulder.
The more you look at it, that's an amazing catch. He's looking over his left and catches it over his right. So, I mean, you can only put your glove out there. That's like a guess, but it went right in. What a great running catch.
But at the plate, Brantley's been stymied thus far as he tries to keep his hitting streak alive. And a line drive base hit, his 12th straight game with a hit.
There you go, Michael. Good job staying on the slider. That's exactly what Katie was talking about earlier in the game. When he comes up, he tries to hit the ball the other way. He got a high breaking ball and it made it a little easier for him to go to left field. And he just, nice swing. Inside out, that's a good approach, and that's why he hits left-handers well. That swing right there. Good job by Brantley. But again, it comes with 2 outs. Wonder if he could, if he can get a read on Diamond and look for a stolen base. I didn't realize it until I started looking at the stats today, but the Indians lead the league in stolen bases now. Believe it or not. They have 46. Behind them was Tampa, who had 45. But, I mean, the way they run, of course, with Chu, Kipnis, who has 13, and Brantley, who has 9, looking to get to double figures. You got some guys that can run a little bit now. And it's not that like they run outrageously. They pick and choose their times, but it seems like it pays off every time they steal a base. They have picked some good times to go.
Duncan down on the count 0-2. Shelley had a 2-out RBI single back in the 4th inning. The Twins also have a 2-out RBI hit here today. And I bring that up because this year, with 2 outs and runners in scoring position, the Indians are allowing the opposition a .289 batting average. The only team that's done worse, the Twins, who are allowing a .319 batting average.
Well, you know what? This would be a time to run, but wait for a pitch. So they could throw a high fastball away after coming with 2 off-speed pitches, and it acts just like a pitch out, like there. Now they're going to want to retire or put him away with an off-speed pitch. Now you may want to pick a pitch to run. One of the keys that can stop you from running as a pitcher is getting ahead of the hitter, because you always have that luxury of pitching out if you want. But with the count the way it is, there's no need to pitch out. Fastball, there's the changeup. Now would be a good time to run.
He holds, bounced it in front of the plate.
That's the pitches you try to pick when you're a base runner. The counts, you know the hitter, you know how they may try and get him out. That would have been a good pitch.
But again, we don't know how easy it is to get the read on Diamond down there.
Well, that's true. That's something that takes time. You're right. Left-handers always neutralize you a little bit more at first base. It's easier to steal third than it is second. And he can hold it up there for a while. Back, there's one, He's going to pay attention to him now. But you've waited to 2-2, so you can wait one more pitch, and then you'll be off and running anyway.
Fouled back. Doman going to go out for a chat. Indians down 3-2 here in the bottom of the 6th, tying run at first with 2 down. And he waves at a ball in the dirt. Second strikeout for Diamond today. It ends the 6th, 3-2 Minnesota.
Face the Pittsburgh Pirates on Friday, June 15th, also Saturday, June 16th. So you want to make sure to log on Indians.com, get your tickets now, and then be here on Sunday, June 17th. The first 15,000 fans that come through the gates will take home a Carlos Santana replica jersey. Once again, you can get those tickets now online and save a few bucks at Indians.com.
Nick Hagedorn on in relief of Justin Masterson, who went 6 innings here this afternoon. Hagedorn, 2.04 ERA, has punched out 16 hitters so far this year. He'll be facing left-handed hitting Ben Revere, left-handed hitting Joe Mauer, and the right-handed hitting Josh Willingham here in the 7th inning. Revere dragged
Beautiful bunt.
And the flip to Kipnis, who had to run through the umpire. And a bunt base hit. That's the third bunt single of the game for Minnesota.
Just take it with you. That's a good play. Heads up play with the lefty falling towards third base. You just get it past the pitcher. Laporta was in. There was nothing he could do about it. It was just a perfect bunt, so don't flip it. Kipnis wasn't there anyway. I mean, just put it in your back pocket, man. That's a good play. Don't throw it into a double.
Hagedorn fires, and Maurer takes a strike. Hagedorn will fire to first.
Well, Rivera, a guy that, he can steal. He's got good speed. He's stolen 4 out of 5. So they are going to keep close attention to him with Maurer up there. But Maurer doesn't care because he's a patient hitter.
Remember last night in the ball game, there was a questionable call by the home plate umpire that Maurer didn't like. He thought it was a ball when it was called a strike, and then almost looked like it ticked him off. And the next pitch, he hit out of here for a home run. The other way foul. And it's 0-2. They're in the ninth now in Chicago. White Sox still leading the Mariners 4-2. Hagedorn's 2-strike pitch. Maurer again foul the other way. Revere held at first by Laporta. .94-mile-an-hour fastball, just missing, and a count 1-2. Maurer's pretty good disciplined hitter. You don't see him chase balls out of the strike zone very often.
No, but he's a guy that can ground into some double plays now.
14 on the year.
Yeah, that leads all of baseball, 14. And that's exactly what Nick Hagedorn can use.
Another throw over. Now the 1-2. Another throw to first.
He's got more throws to first than he's thrown to the plate.
Revere holds, and it's fouled back by Maurer. Another good fastball from Hagedorn. Just above the belt where he couldn't quite catch up to it. Oh, awfully close, but it's 2-2.
Well, maybe a little low.
Swung on and missed. He struck him out with that fastball. He stayed right with the express. And Maurer strikes out for the first time today, 1 down in the 7th. Time now for the answer to our AT&T trivia question. Okay, I guessed Rod Carew, but he only ended up with 353 stolen bases.
Yeah, 500 stolen bases is a tough one. I guess my teammate at one time, Paul Molitor, who played with the Twins from Minnesota, spent major part of his career with the Brewers, Toronto, and then Minnesota.
I just didn't realize he had that many steals.
Yes, he did. And he had that many hits, and he missed about 3.5 years to the DL in his career. He was a good player for a long time.
Josh Willingham 1 for 3 with a double today.
We still see Paul occasionally when we go to Minnesota.
Yeah, sits right in front of us. Those seats in the second deck.
He shows up to the game. He certainly does.
Willingham grounds it to third, but just foul.
Oh, boy, that was
by
close, too.
inches.
You're right. Inches is right. There's a good look at it.
Yep.
Yes, it was. Foul ball. Like you said, not too many inches. Eric Cooper right on it. This is a guy that he can be deadly. You better get it in off the plate if you're going to pitch him in. He loves it middle in. He will turn on it and he can hit it a long way.
Runner goes, and the pitch up high, throw down. Not in time. Another close call goes the Twins' way. Kipnis with a look of exasperation. He thought they had him as he applied the tag on the way by, but Revere with his 5th steal of the year.
And watch where it looked like he tagged him around the knee as he was going head first.
Oh, he's out.
Well, it looked like it again. I mean, the Indians haven't got a close call yet today. He tags him.
That was very close. That hand might have got in there ahead of the tag.
But it's still hard to tell. Still hard to tell, I'll tell you. And there goes another belt. They're not making them like they used to.
What is with these belts?
Well, what happens when you hit that ground, the buckle just, they just
snaps
break.
Right off,
yeah,
huh?
It comes right off.
How many belts
The old
break?
leather belts never used to break. These are those plastic things or whatever they're using now. Not quite sure. But, boy, they haven't got a close call yet today.
Willingham looks at a strike at the knees.
That's a good pitch down and away.
Hagedorn checks that runner. And misses up high, 2-2. Willingham leads the Twins with 10 homers and 35 runs driven in. double, his team leading 16th back in the third inning. So he has been a terrific free agent acquisition so far for Minnesota.
Has. You know, I'm starting to think about it. You ask how many belts I ever broke. Well, we had the bands. We didn't have belts. Remember
That's right. You guys had
double
the
knits.
Yeah, the double
they
knits.
just had the two buttons up.
That's
Now
right.
I broke a few buttons, but never a belt.
Popped a few buttons,
Yeah.
did you?
Oh, more than once.
The 2-2. Back out of play. Hagedon's thrown 10 out of 14 pitches for strikes, but a lot of them have wound up right back to the screen. He wound up striking out Joe Mauer. Now trying to put away Willingham. But he smokes it fair down the left field line. That's going to score Revere. On his way to second with a RBI double is Willingham, his second two-bagger of the game, and his team leading 36th run batted in.
I'd be willing to bet that pitch was middle in, that he was really, and it looked like an off-speed pitch that he raked.
It's 4-2
he kept this
Minnesota.
one fair. He just missed earlier. Look at that one. Middle in. This guy's deadly. If you go in there, you've got to go in off the plate. This is a strong guy that loves to pull the ball. So there's that insurance run that Minnesota was looking for, driven in by Willingham. Double number 17, his second one of the day.
Justin Morneau, 1 out of 3, drove in a run with an infield hit back in the third on a ball up the middle that hit Justin Masterson's foot and caromed away from him. Swung out and missed. Hagedon changed up on him. Swing and a miss. He strikes him out, 2 down. Back to the studios once again we go. Here's Al Pawlowski.
Hey, man, final in Chicago, White Sox in Seattle. The go-ahead run scored here in the fourth inning, a Gordon Beckham RBI double. That put it 3-2 in favor of the White Sox. 4-2 is the final. Chris Sale the win, a complete game. He's now 7-2 on the year. Matt?
And think they wanted to make him a closer when he was here.
Yeah.
CG.
Wow. He's on a pretty good roll right now, too. His last couple of starts have been good.
That kid, the times we faced him, he's been great.
Ryan Domit, 0 for 3 on the day, looks at a ball down low.
The only time they got Chris Sale is the day he came out of the bullpen.
Yeah, that's right.
His first time he blew a save, and he didn't come out of it after that. Smart enough, maybe we shouldn't have got him. Then they would have left him in the bullpen.
Hard hit ball to third. It goes by Lopez, and around third coming home is Willingham. That ball just ate up the Indians' third baseman. And it's 5-2 Twins.
Well, much like yesterday, as you mentioned. Able to add a couple runs on here in the seventh inning off the bullpen. And a left-hander out of that bullpen at that. Another ball hit hard. That's a backhanded stop, and he can't get in front of it. Ball bounces over his glove and into left field. Will go as a single. And I think that's going to do it for Nick Hagedon this afternoon.
Hagedon goes 2/3 of an inning with a couple of strikeouts. But a couple of singles, a double, and 2 runs allowed. And he is out of the game. We've got a timeout, 5-2 Minnesota. 5-2 Minnesota. And Jeremy Accardo coming on for the 8th time this year with a runner at first and 2 down. He'll be facing Brian Dozier, who is 2 for 2 with a walk. He has scored a run. 2 here in the 7th for the Twins. Again, very similar to last night's game where the Indians made a game of it by coming back, but they just couldn't keep Minnesota down. It's a Twins team that has struggled all year long. But
same case scenario as in the last 8 games, though. You fall behind early. You have to play catch-up, and you've got to keep zeros on the board, and that's hard to do. That's not the philosophy that the Tribe has to go on. They've got to try and play from in front with the lead. So starters are going to have to tighten the belt.
In the air, out of play to the right. Well, and especially, you know, with the guys you're missing in the lineup offensively. Indians are hopeful that they'll get Carlos Santana back starting Tuesday in Detroit.
I think all things considered, he will be back in there.
Dozier cuts and misses. He's down on the count 1-2. Dozier strikes out and the inning is over. But Minnesota tacks on 2, and they now lead it 5-2. 7th inning stretch brought to you by the Cleveland Clinic. Join the free walking program. Let's Move It Mondays at Progressive Field and the Metro Park Zoo. Let'sMoveIt.org for more information. Five-2, Minnesota on top as we go to the bottom of the 7th inning. And we'll get a look in from our Panini cam. Stop by Panini's Bar and Grill and get overstuffed. For the Indians, bottom third of the order here, Matt Laporta, Aaron Cunningham, and Lou Marson. Scott Diamond, who's only made 75 pitches through 6 innings, will stay on to work the 7th. The Twins do have activity in their bullpen.
They have activity, but he usually goes anywhere between 90 and 100 pitches, and he has in his start so far this year in his 5 starts. But he's really been stingy today with the pitch count, huh? Going into the 7th and only 75 pitches.
He's been very good.
51 strikes, 24 balls. Manship up the right-hander in that bullpen, but you know, you're rolling this lineup over after the 3 outs, and you've got 3 right-handers here, but Diamond is still on.
Bottom third of the Indians' order, 0 for 6 today. Matt Laporta 0 for 2 with a strikeout. Bounce to third. It eats up the third baseman Plouffe, and Laporta is aboard to start the bottom of the 7th.
Boy, they have had their issues defensively today, haven't they?
Yes.
I mean to tell you, a backhanded play that, you know, should be made. They're there, and, you know, the Indians got to take advantage of this. It's their 3rd error of the game.
I know the ball that was hit by Domet was a little bit harder than that one, but, you know, that similar situation where Lopez and Domet both going to that backhand side. Well, Domet had it clank off of his glove. Lopez, I don't think ever got leather on it.
No, you've got to make that play right there.
Aaron Cunningham has twice bounced to third base.
But the Indians catch a break. Let's see if they can do something with it. The extra out in this inning.
It's up high, 2-0. Diamond has been able to get inside on Cunningham to take the sting out of his bat. He hasn't been able to get the barrel to it. He's jammed him, and both times a couple of weak ground balls to third.
He does have one ground ball double play today in the 2nd inning to end that inning, coming off the bat of Shelley Duncan.
Popped him up on a 2-0 pitch. 1 away.
Well, Rally Alley will continue June 15th and 16th, starting at 5. You can join the party with live performances, discounted food, happy hour beer specials, and lots of fun. Log on to Indians.com or call 216-420-HITS.
Second time on this homestand we've seen a team commit 3 errors in a game.
Well, Kansas City did it.
They did it twice, and now Minnesota's done it, tying their
season. The first time
high.
they did it, yeah, we were kidding our official scorer today about that one error. And after that, though, Kansas City went home and they had, what was it, 3 yesterday. They had 3 a few times since they committed their first time here.
Marson drives one deep left center field. It's in the alley. That'll go down and get to the wall. Laporta coming to third. Just now being waved around, and he will score. An RBI double for Lou Marson. And for Marson, a 6-game hitting streak now, as he picks up just his 3rd RBI on the year. And it's now a 5-3 ball game.
Well, not many times will you see him pull a ball into the left center field alley, but he does right there. You know, Marson gets the extra base hit. Laporta comes around from first to score. Makes it a 5-3 game now. So the insurance runs they added, very important in the top half, but the Indians able to respond. And it was all by that leadoff error, so they are taking advantage of it. One more out there they could get.
Now Shin-Soo Choo, 2 for 3 on the day, doubled his last time up. During batting practice today, Rick, and I know it's batting practice isn't the game, but there was a ball that Marson hit to left field. I mean, he drove one deep to the wall. And Bruce Fields, the Indians hitting coach, happened to be throwing BP at the time. And he got really excited. He said to Lou Marson, that's what I want to see you do more of. When you get that ball there that you can pull and drive, let it go. And it was great to see Lou do just that with that pitch here in the ball game. 1-1 to count for Chu. Tying run at the plate here in the bottom of the 7th. And the 1-1 to Chu is outside. You know, it's funny. I was just thinking you got Shelley Duncan, who's a dead pull hitter, and Lou Marson, who's most of the time a dead opposite field hitter.
Yeah. Yeah, he pushes it the other way.
Chu, a guy who's been able to use the whole field this year. And at 2-1, he pulls it to first, and a big room service hop for Morneau. 2 down, Marson to third.
He had him out in front and took a lot of the sting away from the bat on the off-speed pitch.
Well, that's what's been impressive about Diamond today is his ability to change speeds and keep hitters then in between mode.
The key to pitching is keeping the ball off the center of the bat, keeping them, their timing, upset their rhythm, their timing. That is the key to pitching. You know, you sneak a fastball in. I don't care how hard you throw, if it's 85 or if it's 90 or if it's 95, but to get it in on the trademark when you have to keep it off on the end when you can do it. He's done that.
He's got another tough out to go. Jason Kipnis 0 for 3 today.
This will probably be his last hitter.
And he gets
any
ahead.
way you look at it. If he can get out of this inning, I think he would be happy with it. Regardless of the pitch count, they got the right-handers up. Cabrera, the switch hitter, it doesn't matter.
Way outside, 1-1. Ron Gardenhire's just been able to sit back and watch today.
You gotta give Scott Diamond his kudos because he's pitched around his defense. His defense certainly hasn't helped him today. He could be much better if they made any kind of plays, and they've really upped his pitch count, and he's kept his pitch count intact.
Yeah, a couple of unearned runs today.
So I would think this is going to be his last hitter any way you look at it, but he's held his own.
Marson at third, tying run at the plate. 2 down, bottom of the 7th. 2-1 count for Kipnis. And a swing and a miss.
Doesn't give in there, does he? Comes right back with a breaking ball. Jason might have helped him out a little bit. But you've got one more to go.
"90 pitches so far for Diamond. 59 of those have been strikes. The left-hander with a 2-2. And Kipnis bangs it foul to stay alive. Sun darting in and out of the clouds. Late afternoon start here at Progressive Field. One of 3 p.m. Sunday home starts this year for the Indians, is trying something a little bit different.
Oh, is it 3? I thought it might have been 4. Okay, 3. What do you think of the 3 o'clock starts on Sunday? Does it make a difference?
It's different. Their body clock's all out of whack.
You get used to it.
Right.
One way, it does. We're creatures of habit when you come to game times and 3 city trips and.
The set. Diamond's 2-2. Hill almost hit him. He came in off the plate with that in a full count.
Well, it was 3 straight breaking balls, so he had to keep him honest. He couldn't go another breaking ball without taking his eye off of it and show him something different.
Now let's see if he tries to double up with a fastball.
This is his first full count today. He'll come back with the breaking ball, I think.
And he does. Another big hop for Morneau. The flip to Diamond, who beats him to the bag. And the inning is over. Tribe chips away, but they're down 5-3 as we go to the 8th.
The telecast is presented by the authority of the Cleveland Indians and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Cleveland Indians.
(5-3) Minnesota on top. And Jeremy Accardo will stay on to work the 8th. Trevor Plouffe, Alexi Casilla, Denard Span due up for Minnesota. Plouffe, a couple of hits today, pushing his batting average to $190. Back out of play. Third base has been a bit of a problem spot for Minnesota. They've got Jamie Carroll, the veteran, who can play a little bit of everywhere, but Danny Valencia was the guy that they thought was going to be their third baseman for a long time. As Plouffe drives one off the wall and left, and he's into second base with his third hit of the day. And now the throw gets by Laporta and goes, luckily, off just the facing of the photo well.
Yeah, he would have been given home.
Had it gone in, he would have scored.
All right, so it's the error for the Indians now. I want to see what happened on that throw coming in. It was an automatic double anyway. Brantley just throws it in. Let's see what happens. Bypasses Kipnis on the bounce pass. Okay, so Brantley gets the error on the throw because of the short hop, I guess, to Kipnis.
Well, now they're forced to bring the infield in. With Alexi Casilla at the plate, he's 0 for 2 with a sac fly and a run batted in.
This guy's had some opportunities. This is his third straight time where a man on third and less than 2 outs. He hit the ball to the Laporta,
right,
where they got the play at home plate last time. So he's had good opportunities this afternoon to drive in runs, and another chance to get that one right back. The Indians just scored.
Trevor Plouffe, who started the day with a 176 average, but 3 straight hits, and now he's up to 198.
Still on the interstate.
Casilla bounces it foul. Casilla punches it to center field. Brantley will be there to make the catch. Tagging is Plouffe. He's coming home. Brantley's throw hit the top of the mound, but not in time.
That's too bad. Sometimes that happens when you're throwing from center field. The ball hits the top of the mound and it skips on you. You got to get a little more on it.
Second sac fly of the day for Casilla, his second RBI. And Minnesota gets the run right back. And their lead is 6-3 as we take a look at our Hyundai box score. Stop by your Northern Ohio Hyundai dealer and see the 2012 Sonata. Log on NorthernOhioHyundaiDealers.com. Top of the order, Denard Span. Doesn't have a hit, but he walked, stole a base, and scored in the first to set the tone. And Minnesota has never trailed today. Fouled on a play.
Boy, that's a skipper up into the seats. That ricocheted off about 7 people.
Well, Rick, the Indians have certainly had their troubles offensively here of late, but how about the troubles out in Oakland, where the A's were shut out today for the 11th time this year? That's the most in the league.
Wow. 11 times.
Out of
that's
50,
with no
roughly
chance.
50 games.
Yeah, that's with no chance to win.
2-0 Kansas City beat them today at Kauffman Stadium. The 1-2 from Accardo. Swung on and missed. He strikes him out. 2 down in the inning. Second strikeout for Accardo. Highlight reel brought to you by your Northeast Ohio Ford dealers. Justin Masterson early in this game had a number of very good defensive plays.
Yeah, he had a stretch there. Well, this one he didn't want to make. He had to. That ball was drilled right into his back. Stayed heads up, made a nice play. He was a busy man today.
Masterson wound up pitching 6 innings today. He only allowed the 3 runs. But offensively, the Indians were not able to get untracked against Scott Diamond, who has limited them to 3 runs and only 1 earned in 7 innings of work. And now the bullpen for the Tribe has already allowed 3 runs and an inning and 2/3 of work. Two by Hagedon in the 7th, 1 more by Accardo here in the 8th. You know, in this 8-game stretch, Rick, where the Indians have lost 6 out of their last 8, Vinny Pastano and Chris Perez have been invisible. Pastano has pitched 2 innings in the last 8 games, and Perez has pitched 1 inning.
Wow. Yeah. Well,
you don't have the lead.
You don't have the lead. You don't bring him in. You know, Pastano was up warming up last inning. Maybe because we had some guys on base and there was a chance we were going to maybe tie it up or get close, and I think Manny might have put him in. With tomorrow off, you know, I was thinking maybe he was going to get an inning anyway coming in here to keep it a 5-3 game, but chose to sit him down.
Well, you know, remember they pitched it. Both of them pitched in all 3 games in the sweep of Detroit.
Yeah.
And that's where we're going next. So maybe Manny trying to save
Keep
as many bullets as he can.
That's true, too.
Inning over, but another run for the Twins, and they lead it 6-3. Well, it's a 6-3 Minnesota lead as we go to the bottom of the 8th. Minnesota goes to their bullpen, and shocking news, it's a left-hander coming out of the pen for Minnesota.
Well, Glenn Perkins came on yesterday and pitched an inning. So he's going to come in and get another inning here. Hopefully he can give him the 8th.
Well, Jamie Carroll has come in at third base
yeah,
defensively.
They need some defensive help. You mentioned all 3 runs that Diamond gave up unearned.
As Dribble Cabrera with a long fly to left. Willingham back to catch it, 1 away. Yeah, 3 runs allowed by Diamond, and all 3 unearned because of the errors today behind him defensively. And there very easily could have been a 4th error charged to the Twins today. Jose Lopez, base hit in the 2nd, and that's the one that could have been ruled an error. Drove in a run with a sac fly in the 4th. And a lazy pop to left. Now, Rick, if the Indians don't somehow get off the deck and rally back to win this game, then going into Detroit Tuesday is going to be very interesting because it will be 2 really struggling teams. The Tigers are, what, 4 games under 500 now.
Because of Chicago won today and they lost, so they go back
6 out.
6 games out.
Tigers.
The Indians would go 2.5 out.
So it'll be 2 teams trying to figure out how to get their seasons turned around, even though it's early June.
Well, try and keep up with the White Sox is what they got to try and do. But again, divisional series awfully important, just like this series is here. They lost 2 out of 3 to Kansas City. They're looking like they're going to lose 2 out of 3 here to Minnesota, and that would drop them to against the Central Division 15-14.
Yeah,
and that's where they were leading the division coming into this homestand in the Central Division. Now they're dropping. The White Sox came in. They swept them in Chicago.
Well, you just go back to the sweep of the Tigers here, and they've been in a tailspin ever since with the injuries. They haven't been able to overcome them.
Well, some of it has been injuries. A lot of it has been pitching.
Well, that's true.
You can't blame the injuries on everything because when we went to Chicago, the guys that even were in the lineup, they scored enough runs. We gave up 35 runs in that series. You come home, you didn't pitch that well. The starters have not been on track. The bullpen is scuffling right now. This team is built on pitching. You can't blame the injuries. You can't blame the players. You fight your way through that.
Up the middle, Michael Brantley has his 2nd hit of the game. Both hits coming with 2 outs in an inning.
You pitch well enough, you're going to be in every ball game, even if you don't score a lot. They haven't been shut out or anything like that.
Well, the offense has got to be able to produce when the pitching goes south, and it makes it tough when you're playing uphill. Every time the Indians homer this year, we donate money to the Gathering Place. Rick and I each make a donation, as well as the folks at Great Clips. $2,580 raised so far. Great needs, great deeds, Great Clips.
Another way you find to shut this offense down, if you keep them in the ballpark and you don't walk anybody, and there's no walks today.
Yeah.
They lead the league in walks, and this is how their offense is built. If you walk people, that gets them going. Not that they hit a lot, but they seem to have good games when they walk 4 or 5 times in a ball game and they mix in a couple hits. And if any of them happen to be long balls, then it's you've got a chance of putting up some pretty good numbers. But if you don't walk them and you force them to hit their way on and they do not do it, you've got a pretty good chance of containing these guys.
Duncan with an RBI hit with 2 outs back in the 4th. Hits one high in the air to left. Willingham is there. And the inning is over. We head to the 9th. 6-3 Twins. Eighth inning here at Progressive Field. Tribe down 6-3, but Chris Perez, who has only pitched 1 inning in the last 8 games, on for some work here.
You got to get him with the day off. You got to get him some pitches. You got to get him to find home plate. Appearing for the 23rd time. So he's going to get an inning here before the off day, and we head out on the road. He'll end up facing, let's see, Maurer left the games as the DH. So you got a pinch hitter for him.
Darren Mastroianni. And Mastriani looks at a fastball strike. Maurer diagnosed with a mild right thumb sprain. In the air to right. Chu backpedals to make the catch. 1 down. Closer Matt Capps up in the Twins bullpen. A little bit outside. Ripped to third on 1 bounce. Jose Lopez throws out Willingham, 2 down. Back out of play. Justin Morneau, 1 for 4, drove in a run with an infield hit back in the third. He has grounded out twice and struck out. Swung on and missed. He threw it by him. It's 0-2. Back out of play. Marson's going to go out for a brief chat here. Tell you, for all the time Perez has had off, he looks sharp. Doesn't seem to have any command issues. That's the one thing you worry about with a bullpen guy when you don't get a lot of work.
But that's something he's done so well in about the last couple of weeks, is just pounding the strike zone.
Sky high pop. Lopez backpedaling. He's got it. 1, 2, 3 go the Twins. Last chance for the Tribe coming up. Tribe down 5-3, bottom of the ninth. Bottom third of the order due up here. Matt Laporta, Aaron Cunningham, and Lou Marson, though it looks like we'll get a pinch hitter for Cunningham as Casey Kochman has come into the on-deck circle. Matt Capps saved a 3-run lead last night, and he's got a chance for another 3-run save here this evening. Laporta reached on an error his last time up. Laporta bangs one in the hole, a base hit to start the bottom of the ninth.
Well, there's your start. Yesterday in last night's ball game, the first hitter, Lonnie Chisenhall, hit a bullet off Capps. That was Rivera made a beautiful catch. That was to start the inning off. Couldn't do it.
And Lonnie Chisenhall is in the on-deck circle.
Absolutely, I would think so. Well, you need one more man to reach base before that tying run can come to the plate.
Casey Kochman, as you see Chisenhall getting ready. Fouls the first pitch right back. Kochman 0 for 1 as a pinch hitter. The one thing I noticed last night, Capps was throwing low fastballs, 95 right at the knees on the outside corner.
Well, he did after he got that out to Chisenhall. He had him down 0-2. He elevated that pitch, and I think that woke him up. You know, that catch really saved him. Then he really got the ball down. And he also has a splitter as well. So that's why you got to be aggressive early off this guy with the fastball. That was an off-speed pitch or breaking ball.
Now Kochman down on the count 0-2. The one thing about Casey's a pretty good contact guy. Doesn't strike out a lot. But Laporta, very below average as a runner. He does not have any kind of speed at all. So you can't really start your runner here just in case you get a strikeout. There's a tailor-made double play ball. So 2 down now. And Lonnie Chisenhall coming to the plate. Lonnie Chisenhall has done a terrific job since getting the call up. 6 out of 17. And he pops this one straight up on the infield, and it should end it. It's going to carry now into center, where Span makes the catch to end the game. So the Indians fall flat again, and they lose the series to the lowly Twins. Final score today, 6-3 Minnesota. The last place Twins come to town, take 2 out of 3. They get their 20th win of the year. And the Indians drop to 28-25 on the year. They fall 2.5 games now behind Chicago in the AL Central. Scott Diamond gets the win. He is now 4-1 on the season. And the save goes to Matt Capps, who picks up his 12th of the year. Losing pitcher is Justin Masterson, who falls to 2-5 on the season for the Indians. Time now for our key play of the game, brought to you by KeyBank.
Let's go back to the third inning, and it's going to be Justin Morneau that hit that ball off Justin Masterson's leg. The barrel of the bat was coming at him and kicked off. That's one of the only plays he didn't make today. Out on the pitcher's mound, it deflects. They score the run. So that was one that really added on. And, you know, late in the game, they were able to add on after that.
Our play of the game is brought to you by KeyBank, the home of relationship rewards. Earn reward points and redeem for gifts. Our attendance this afternoon, 21,238. Time of the game, 2 hours and 47 minutes. Twins win it, take 2 out of 3 from the Indians. The Conrad's Tire Express and Total Car Care postgame show is next.